the culture of a man, and like, did you have problems like figuring out why you had those issues of like always having two women, and did you figure that out? Like, what was the issue and how did you resolve that?
Well, yeah, actually, about a year and less than 2 years ago, I went through a process,
Hmm.
right, where I was trying to like, okay, why do I keep sometimes repeating the same mistakes?
Hmm.
Why I am the way that I am now? Why do I
So
think
did
this
you,
way?
okay, so can I ask a personal question? Like, was there infidelity in your marriage?
Oh, always,
With
absolutely. I grew up with that.
just you,
Yeah,
or did she have it also?
no, just me.
Just you. So she
Yeah,
never was going the other way.
I can never say 100%, right?
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I can't say 100%,
Hmm.
but yeah, in my part, absolutely. So, trying to figure that's part of the things why I wanted to figure out, right?
Yeah. So were you
Um,
always, so even the beginning of it, so you always had two women. So even with your marriage now, you always had other women as well?
well, no, I didn't have like relationships like like another
Yeah.
family
Okay.
or stuff like that. But no, it'd just be like on occasion,
On
things like
occasion, like you had
yeah,
another person.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So then I'm trying to figure all this out and
Yeah.
why because it gets tiring after a while, right?
Yeah. Like, did you go
'Cause-
to therapy?
No, so this was during COVID, so there was very few therapists,
Okay.
and it was hard for me to get one,
Yeah.
and so I just decided to work on myself. So I
Mhm.
picked up some books I was reading,
Yeah.
um, and there was one book that I read that really opened up things, and it's called "No More Mr. Nice Guy."
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like, I
Right?
love tips here. So that's a tip for guys who are having issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's not. It sounds like you got to be an asshole, but no, it's not that. It's just like you have to think about yourself
Hmm.
and work with yourself so you can understand yourself, so you can really help others and stop being a yes person. Because I was a yes person. I would say yes to pretty much
Yeah.
everything and anything, right? Just to please people
Hmm.
because I didn't. I always want to be looked like a good person,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
I hated, didn't like being rejected.
Yeah. Like, I have that issue too. So I totally understand.
Yeah, so I that book kind of helped me out understand a lot of the things. Like I was reading, I was like, oh man, this is talking, it's talking to me, right?
Yeah.
And it showed
Yeah.
examples that I went through. I'm like, wow. So then I was like, okay, so I believe what this person is saying. So I kind of started working on myself, and one of the things that I I've never done was cry, right?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, nothing. Like my brother passed away back in '03, and I didn't cry when he passed away, and I was close to him,
Hmm.
and didn't mourn him. And while I was going through this process is when everything just started coming out, and I cried him and things like that. And before that process, I cried maybe 4 3 times that I can remember in my lifetime, right?
Yeah.
45 years.
Yeah. So you feel
And
like you
then
weren't sitting in your feelings of things.
yeah, absolutely. And
Okay.
then after that, it's been, I cried over 20 30 40 times,
Yeah. Yeah.
just like learning how to mourn things and let things go. So
Hmm.
that's helped out a lot.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I had to work on myself, like why, and then I had to write it down and notes all my thoughts. Right, and I went back since I was like you know 3 4 5 years old, all the things that I remembered. And I just started writing it down. 6 7, I went out through all the years
So you
and
start
see.
basically writing your like whole memoir kind of like all your experiences then.
Yeah, so I can kind of like connect. Okay, I now I'm understanding why I'm a certain I am who I am today, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that helped me out big time, right? And then so the past year and a half 2 years I've been pretty much working on myself,
Mm.
just so I can be a better person, so I can be good to me, so I can be better to others. Yeah, so I can tell you this, what I've learned. So what I've learned that it had nothing to do with, let's say, my wife. It was a me thing. So it wasn't like she wasn't doing something or
Mhm.
she was bad or anything like that. It was me. It was my problem, and I owned it.
Mhm.
So it had nothing to do with her. Like she did not create this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So she's innocent in this
Yeah.
process, right? The other thing is that I learned is like, all right, if I ever do it again, let's say if I were to do it, right? I gotta make sure that whoever if I ever do that, like this person needs to know, like, no, you ain't messing with my family, right?
Yeah.
But I've always done that before, and that's why my wife really didn't have a problem, right? Um, but I
She didn't
was
have a problem
separated.
as in like she didn't know, or
Yeah, because if I was with another person, I'm not
you
gonna.
let them
I
know
let her
like,
know
listen, I'm married and this is just like a one-time thing, so don't get attached kind of thing.
absolutely,
So at least you
absolutely.
were honest. So you were honest with them of that part.
Yeah, so I learned to be honest, right?
Okay.
And I even value that more because fact for me, even though I did the cheating, for me, family was like sacred.
Yeah. So you
It's
still at
crazy.
least were honest with that person. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's crazy for me to say like family is sacred, but then
Yeah.
I'm cheating,
But then you're
right?
cheating. So it's really like uh unfortunately a little bit of hypocritical.
It is. It is. It is. It is. But I wanted to protect my family if I was
Yeah.
doing something because that was my demon, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't want to bring my demon into,
Yeah. Yeah. So
into
you're
their
saying
world.
that these women never contacted your wife.
I don't think so. No. Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
So
no. And that's why I said it's my demon. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with
Yeah.
with my wife. It's all me. And that's why I had to work on myself. And what
So how
happened
did
is
she
like
find out? Did you tell her?
um well well in like in the past, um she really didn't find out about anything that I really did, right? So it's not like she had to really go through anything, right? Well, there was one time though that um there was this one person that she actually had a partner, and her partner, he kind of find out supposedly they were split up,
Yeah.
but then the partner saw my wife
Hmm.
and told her like, oh, like he's screwing around with my wife and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So that was one time that
She did find
that
out.
did.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously, she went through something that I wish she didn't go through,
Yeah.
which I always try to protect, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's better not to do it
Yeah.
because
Hmm.
everything comes out to light, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. Like everything always comes out to light.
You know,
Yeah.
because honest, like again, if you're gonna do something, do it right, right? Uh, the best thing to do is to be honest with
Honesty,
your
I mean, to
partner.
be honest, you have to be honest with everybody. Like if you're gonna
Exactly.
do it, make sure that that person knows women.
Yeah, and that's one of the things to learn, to be honest,
Yeah.
right? Because and then let you make your decision whether you
Yeah.
want to be with me
Yeah.
or
Like
not,
let me
right?
make the decision whether. So if you're gonna do dirt, just do it honestly.
Yeah, and like when I grew up, right, I saw my uncles, they would hide shit. So I was
Yeah.
like, that's the way it's supposed to be done. And they're
Yeah.
like,
That's
no,
what you learned.
that's what I learned. But it's the best thing is just to be honest with your partner, regardless of how many years you've been with that partner.
Mhm.
Just be honest because sometimes you'll be like surprised.
Yeah.
Like they'll be
Really.
like, they can go so many ways. And at the end of the day, as long as they get to make the choice, that's what's important.
Yeah.
And it's not me trying to deceive somebody because then that's lying. It's just not good.
Yeah.
And I don't feel good even doing it because then I have to hide stuff. And then, sometimes I feel guilty. So why go through all that? Why
Mhm.
skip all the bullshit, like skip all the crap, just
Yeah.
be honest, and
Yeah.
whatever happens, happens. And everybody has the right to live their life the way they want to live it, right?
Yeah.
But
Everybody just wants to be happy and do things that make them happy.
yeah, but why not just in order for that to happen, honesty, it's what kind of creates that, right? People being open and honest, because when there's no trust, when you don't trust somebody, you're not having fun in a relationship, right?
No,
So
not at all. Not at all. So like
mm-mm.
what I've learned a lot is with all these podcasts also is like when I ask people like, what do you think the purpose of life is? And for me to answer that question, I'll ask you that question too. But one of my answers of what I realized doing all of these podcasts is the purpose of life is really to be more authentically ourselves and to live our purpose of truly of whatever we want to do and whatever makes us happy,
Yeah,
and that's what I think it is. Because if I'm sitting in my purpose of whatever I want to do, I'll be happy. So I'm not causing any ruckus to anybody else. I'm not doing a job that I shouldn't be doing or like a job that somebody else would really like to do. And I'm taking their spot in life. when they should be doing that as you know. So if you're more authentically yourself and you're living your truth, not really hurting anybody, and you're more happy, so then the world is like a better place. So what do you think the purpose of life is?
Well, that's what you just mentioned. That's something that I'm just like learning to be,
Hmm.
right? That I'm actually practicing. I knew about it, but I
Yeah.
didn't practice it. So
Yeah.
that's something that I already started practicing,
Hmm.
which is so great. Um, because if I'm true to myself and I'm true with everybody, I can be myself. I don't have to worry. I have
Yeah.
less stress. And if somebody doesn't like me, it's fine, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Um, but my purpose has always been, since I brought kids into the human beings into this world,
Mhm.
like I felt always responsible, so that's always been my purpose,
Yeah.
pretty
How many
much. My
kids do you have?
kids. I'm sorry.
How many kids? Five? Four?
4. Mhm.
Hmm.
No, I don't want to adopt, and I actually got a vasectomy back in '07 of December, because I remember, because my daughter was born in November of '07, and a month later, after 4 kids, I'm like, I'm done.
You're like, that's it.
That's it. And then my wife followed like another. Did she do it before? I think she did it before I did, and then I did it.
Oh, okay. You're both like,
Mhm.
listen, we're done.
We're done. Yeah,
Yeah.
so she sleeps good now. She
Mhm.
sleeps better, knowing that there's not going to be any kids out there.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, I decided to I just wanted peace of mind in that direction. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. What are you most, grateful for?
Well, I'm grateful for the life that I live, and what I'm able to do. So since I have peace of mind pretty much now
Mhm,
financially, right? It just allows me to be more of who I am, and actually now concentrate on helping other people.
mhm. So
So
service makes you happy now as well.
it does, and I've always been a serviceable person.
Yeah,
Like again, remember, I always put a lot of people's their interests before mine's. I was a people pleaser, but
yeah,
at least I get to do it now, because I want to, not because I'm trying to please anybody, because I really don't care,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
What people think about me anymore. But I do it now because I love to help, so, which is pretty cool. So
Yeah.
I'm 47, and hopefully, I got another 40, 50 years to do that, and that's exciting to me. You know what I'm
How did
saying?
you get over the need to people please? Because I feel like I have that issue as well.
No, again, it was just reading that book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, and kind of like understanding like why,
Mhm.
I'm that way. And so, it really, I live, I have, I don't live for other people anymore. I don't live to gain acceptance. I really
Yeah,
don't care.
yeah.
Um, Honestly, I grew up being scared to speak to educated individuals, and most of
Mm,
them were white, right? So I grew up being scared of speaking to white people.
yeah. Mm,
Because I was scared to speak to doctors,
yeah.
attorneys, anybody that was smarter. Because number one, my vocabulary is not as extensive, because I didn't like reading. I
Mhm.
didn't have study habits, so I didn't want to open up my mouth, so I stayed shut.
Yeah.
But after I guess me being successful in my world,
Then
that
you
kind of
felt more
opened me.
confident.
It built me more confidence. Well, like,
Mhm.
yeah, I really don't care what you think.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna say what I want to say. I'm definitely gonna be respectful and mindful of the situation, the room,
yeah,
right? And if I do things, make sure that it's actually helping someone, not
yeah,
taking away from them.
yeah.
And that's it. So I really don't care, because my intentions are good,
Mhm.
and I'm pretty mindful when I do things.
Been through that. You know what I mean? So it's fun to see in the guy's mind if you have always been growing up and having two women.
Yeah. From what I've learned, is just to do the right thing, be honest. And if you have kids, do what's the best interest for them and not for me.
Yeah.
And that's why it was hard for me, growing up, even till I was like 45, was because I never I never was able to work on myself. My thoughts was always on other people.
Yeah.
And sometimes I was selfish with my actions,
Yeah.
but I was never happy because of the person that I was.
Yeah.
And I never really worked on myself.
Mhm.
And so I was always focused kind of on them.
Yeah.
And but now that I have, the freedom, and they kind of grown up, now it's like, okay, I was able to start working on myself.
Mhm.
And now, have the best of both worlds, which I'm in a better position. I still got so much to learn, right?
Mhm.
And it turned, a lot. But my kids are good. I'm in a better place. So I'm really enjoying life now more than ever.
Yeah.
And I just want to continue that. Yeah, based on what I went through, I wouldn't definitely never do that. But and then I see other people going through that, family members, and they go somewhere far and then leave their kids, and it's not fun. It's not fun for both parties at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
you think you're gonna be fine. I remember when I escaped because I want to do my own stuff. I was like 22, 23 years old with two
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
I felt stressed out. It's like I need to escape. I need to think about myself.
Yeah.
That didn't work out.
Because our whole purpose now is to also to serve people. Like I want to help people. So that's why it's also part of my podcast where I'm talking to people who have gone through some things and learned some things. And now I can put you on the podcast and you can give out tips and tricks of all the life lessons that you've learned. I feel like every story will help and every story will heal. And so I want to take that into the business model also because me and her, we love art, and I want to throw art shows, art networking parties where I can help other people, and be that forum to have a space where people can have events, people can have art shows, but whatever it is to help other people.
Yeah, you could also make money by helping other people. Lots of people do it. I mean, I do it in a way, right?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, and you can also make money, which honestly, you have more security, which even then allow you to have more clarity at the
Yeah.
same time. So
Yeah. I mean, that would be great.
yeah, because you can't just think about other people. Yeah, I want to help. Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
help. I want to help. It's like it got to go both ways, right?
Yeah, exactly. There has to be a balance. So thank you so much. And I appreciate
Thank
this
you.
conversation. And I feel like we can probably come on again with whatever other tips and tricks that you have going on or whatever projects you have going on, right?
All right, cool. Yeah. So
I
hopefully,
appreciate it. So thank you so
yeah.
much for joining me here today.
No, thank you. I appreciate you very much, and I look forward to connecting, with you. So, and